I did a show with LeBron James. The funny thing is everybody's like, man, Bonnie, you're so tall. I'm like, you gotta understand, he's sitting down. I'm standing, so. Everybody, Bonin Bough here. You are watching B-Suite. We just finished 2 days of intense travel. We spoke at Gallo Wines, and then we came here to speak at the American Dental Trade Association. You're gonna watch it. There's two interesting things here. One is how do you continue to communicate with a changing consumer from a consumer perspective, but also how do you communicate as a business from a B2B perspective. So there's some Q&A that you'll see. One of the questions that I think was really interesting that happened at Gallo was how do you isolate teams so that they can do innovation? And one of the things I've talked about, maybe you've heard it, but what I mentioned to them was really I focus on the coalition of the willing. So how do I find the coalition of the willing, like the 7 people? Everybody wants to say no, fine. So let's take a 7-person group, all you naysayers, and we're gonna prove you wrong. So I think part of it is that people who share the same passion around it, and that's okay. It's not about proving people wrong. It's just these people have a vision of how they can do it. Let's take those people and put them together. We don't need every single person. And that's what you have to do. You have to focus on the people who actually believe in the innovation that you want to push. It's horrible to think that you can get alignment across any organization. We're humans, it's hard for every single person to be aligned. But if you can find those people who are passionate about that concept and idea, you don't need everybody. Just take those people, put them in a team, try to keep them as far away from the organization as possible so they can do their thing. Check in with them as rarely as possible just to get an update on progress and give them a very big, hairy, audacious goal and watch them chase it down. The other piece that we heard a lot about was how do you create the organization so they can drive fast content? If you look, you've got Stefan in the corner, so he's my predator, producer, editor, shooter. So he follows me everywhere. Predator, producer, editor, shooter. I'm learning how to create content on the fly very quickly, and we're building a process and the muscle memory to be able to do that. So that's one of the things. Then when we came over to the Dental Trade Association, what we talked about was you have an interesting opportunity. One is they're selling tools, services, devices into dentists. Dentists are the front line with the consumer. But at the same time, they have to take a consumer who oral care is not top of mind anymore, especially since the crash of 2008. So 2 things. One, how does the trade association figure out ways to break through with messaging that's never been done before? Think ALS, Ice Bucket Challenge. How do you find that kind of moment and opportunity? The interesting thing about charcoal toothpaste is that I do think if you're looking for like the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge movement, like if you literally go on Instagram, all these kids are brushing their teeth with it because it's like an Instagrammable thing. If I'm you guys as an industry and I'm just thinking about this, I jump in on that and push that, and who can send the best thing, who can, you know, and then you create that movement and then somehow tie it to oral care. Nobody knew what ALS was, but it also happened for a short period of time. It only was really moving for like 2 months maybe, but everybody now knows what it is. And so even if you can create that kind of moment for 2 months, that energy around it, that's something interesting. How do you find that thing that's gonna break through versus trying to hit people over the head with that education message? How do you find something that people attach themselves to that can then explode? And then the second piece is, how do you begin to treat B2B marketing in the same way that you would treat consumer marketing? How do you take creative and unique advertising that you would use in a B2C setting and put that in B2B? I say it all the time, LinkedIn is probably the most underutilized platform. If you can create a real game-changing campaign, even just in LinkedIn, and be very targeted on the B2B market that you're focused on, but treat it like a consumer campaign, you can have a lot of disruption, a lot of impact. If I was you guys, I would have at the next meeting, I don't know, have LinkedIn come in and just talk about, you know, their B2B solutions. Like you can target anything you want. You can go on right now and just search for dentists and you'll find every single dentist and you can buy ads just for those folks. Okay, again, Bonin Bough, B-Suite. Subscribe or text me, 646-759-1837. We're in sunny Jacksonville. We came from Napa, which is beautiful. I recommend that you go to both those, and I'm out.